Hello and welcome to Piedmont Business Live. I'm your host, Ken Morrison, and today we're here with the founder of 2D Consulting, Trip Durham. Trip, thank you for being with us.
Ken, I appreciate the invitation.
Well, first of all, tell me, what is 2D Consulting?
2D Consulting is a consulting group that I started back in 2010, and we operate basically in two buckets. Bucket number one is brand and external relations assessment for small conferences, small schools, small associations, being able to help them with better practices, discover what their liabilities are, and even uncover what their opportunities might be when it comes to engaging the public better in all different operations. Ticket sales, branding, marketing, corporate sales, the whole bit. Now, bucket number two works with project management. There are associations and schools and properties that don't have enough funds for a full-time employee to handle a particular project. So that's where 2D Consulting comes in. I've either produced or co-produced over 1,500 events in my day. Oh. So I think I bring the expertise to help with that solution. So those are sort of, again, the two buckets for 2D.
Okay. So tell me, what kind of engagement or project has 2D Consulting has been most rewarding for you?
Well, having worked with properties all over the country over the last 5-7 years, it's been fun to be able to look at the whole scope and say, okay, they're each individually unique in their own regard. Probably the one project that I had the most fun with was collaborating with what was then the principals of the Mid-Central College Conference, NAIA conference in the Midwest, and they wanted to have a complete brand overhaul from messaging to logo to name. And so it was working with their principals and creating the questions, learning the answers, understanding exactly what it is that they thought they were, right, and who it is they wanted to be. So through the entire excavation work, and that's what it was a lot of digging, after about 18 months, we decided that Mid-Central College Conference was ready for a change, and the name evolved to the Crossroads League. And being able to be a part of that from start to finish was an absolute blast.
So it sounds like, based on that story, that there are no geographic boundaries to 2D Consulting.
There aren't. With being located in the central part of North Carolina, there are 3 airports: Greensboro, Raleigh, Charlotte. So have an airport will travel. Mm-hmm. And being so well located on the eastern seaboard, 5 hours to DC, 5 hours to Atlanta, 5 hours to Knoxville. It gives you an idea of where we are in the Piedmont. Right. That allows me to triangulate, I guess, to many different points in the country.
Okay. So you're the past president of the National Association of College Marketing Administrators. What did this experience on the board and in leadership teach you?
Well, Nagma is great. Nagma is an association of 1,300 members strong, and it's college marketing professionals from all over the country. So it's the director of marketing at UConn and the director of marketing at Georgia College and State University. Gives you an idea about the diversity. Being able to be in a leadership role on that board for 8 years, serving as president and now being a past president, I was able to constantly be a part of conversation. How is marketing evolving? How is branding changing as we're moving into this 21st century at such a fast pace? What was collegiate marketing in the late 80s, early 90s is definitely not collegiate marketing now in the mid part of the 2010s or whatever it is that we call this period. So it's being able to keep a thumb on the pulse, having a network of people that I can call to check in, find out best practices, knowing vendors who work in the college space that I have relationships with, being able to not so much leverage the relationship, but being able to know that I can get the best price and work with some vendors on the best solutions for some of my partners.
So with branding and marketing, I would imagine that large schools, small schools, they all have similar challenges that they're trying to overcome. Is that correct?
They do. Everybody has to do more with less. Presidents tell them that. Conference commissioners tell them that. CEOs of associations say you've got to go out and move the needle. So being able to benchmark not only with the people that I have worked with, but also being able to benchmark almost a daily basis with my work with Duke in the Atlantic Coast Conference, handling public address and some special MC roles for those two groups. I'm able to constantly check in. I am part of a conversation, even though I may be in the corner of the room listening to somebody else, I'm part of hearing what is going on in the industry. And I think that provides some value for me as we work with other companies and associations and groups throughout the country.
Okay. So tell me, how important is fit when you and a client are working with one another?
Well, I think fit is crucial. Almost like in our conversation here, you have to be able to be in sync with someone. Fit for me goes a little bit further than that too. There's no need for me to try to sell my service to someone if one, we're not connecting on a personal level, or two, if the association, the school, whoever it might be, they're just not really in need of that service at the time. You don't want to force yourself into a situation that might be very short term, might be egregious in places. So you've got to be able to have that symbiotic connection of goals, wanting to accomplish things and to move the needle. So again, where I started, I think fit is of the utmost importance.
Okay. Your logo represents a branding iron or medallion.
Right.
What's the significance of that for 2D?
Well, for 2D, I believe in brand. If you don't have brand or understanding what your brand is or what other people think your brand might be, then you really have no basis to start a conversation. The idea that a farmer takes his mark and places it on his product, his property, in a very searing kind of permanent way, to me that's important. So when you look at the medallion that is 2D, you see what is the resemblance of a branding iron. And I think 2D is trying to put its stamp nationwide on its services, much like any of my partners need to put their stamp on who it is they're about in their community.
Okay. So tell me, what are some success stories for 2D and its clients?
2D, well, I think the NCAA would be a better one to ask this question of, but 2D has been a partner with the NCAA on some campus activation programs over the years, that being able to see colleges work with the NCAA to tap into NCAA resources, right, to help the attendance, the consumption, the engagement of men's basketball on these campuses throughout the country, hearing success stories, knowing that the concept of what we wanted to do actually comes through at the end of the season because more and more people were engaged at Gonzaga or Texas Pan America, all these different places. Mm-hmm. To me, that's been very rewarding.
So how do you stay connected with campus life as a consultant on a daily basis?
I'm checking in all the time with people. It's phone calls of friends of mine, people that I've worked with. It's being able to watch the clip services come through every day. If there's something that jogs my mind, I'll call and learn a little bit more about. I'm a contributor to the Magalla Report, which is a long-standing newsletter and information source by Dan Magalla, who's been an industry leader for 30 years. It's staying relevant as a past president for Nagma and being able to keep my thumb on what's going on.
Okay. Are there projects that really excite you?
Yeah, there's a project that in 2014 was developed by Steamboat Springs Ski Resort out in Colorado, in which they wanted to produce the first ever college mascot, or the mascot stampede. This was an exercise of inviting 16 Division I programs to Steamboat on Steamboat's nickel to be not only a source of continuing education for the mascots, how to be a better mascot, but also to participate in some what I call lightweight Olympic style events out on the slopes. And being able to coordinate with these schools and say, here's an opportunity, and to hear their excitement, and then to watch the whole thing come to fruition in Steamboat, outstanding. Absolutely incredible.
I can't imagine seeing mascots all learning to be mascots.
It's quite a sight, and to see them out on the slopes, to see them parading through the square at Steamboat, the visual of that is just phenomenal.
And that's what college sports are all about.
It is, and I think when people are working externally to make a connection, because branding is nothing more than creating that emotional connection between consumer and product.
Right.
And if the product is doing the right thing to make that connection, it's incredible. That's why I think Steamboat was really onto something when it says, come to our place, learn how to be better, take a little bit of a break after exams, and then have everybody benefit from that type of connection. That's what it's all about.
Terrific. So tell me, what is this misnomer about consultants?
Consultants, and I think in a lot of people's minds, is that guy with a briefcase who has to travel 3 hours into our market who knows nothing about us. I flip that a little bit because I think I know the sports marketplace so well, and because of my ability and my history to ask questions and to mine for information, I think I'm not the traditional definition of a consultant. I get it. I know that you don't have resources, that you have 1,000 different entertainment options in your market by which people can go engage. I know that. Let me look at the resources you have. Let me look at your venue. Let me watch a game operation. Let me see the challenges, but again, the opportunities, and then let me help you craft something. I think a lot of consultants come in with their briefcases, they tell you what you should be doing, and then they leave. I tell you what I think you could do, and then partner with you to help you get to that point.
Gotcha. Well, tell me, what is your greatest strength when you think about how you can help a school, a conference, or a sports agency?
I am added value. I am not the under promise, over deliver guy. I'm your guy 24/7. When we sign a partnership agreement, I'm at your beck and call. Phone, text, email, courier pigeon, whatever it needs to be. You've asked for me to be a partner in providing a solution, and I'm going to be with you every step of the way. So added value, I think, is what I bring to the table, and my portfolio of experience hopefully can back that up a little bit.
Terrific. Well, Trip, we really appreciate you being on the show today and sharing with us some information about 2D Consulting. And if you would like more information about 2D Consulting, please visit the website. The address is at the bottom of this page, or you can also find it at the end of this video. I'm Ken Morrison, your host of Piedmont Business Live. Thanks for tuning in.